Hey there, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Drop where you're joining from in the chat if you can while you're joining. Whilst everyone's joining, we're waiting a little bit. We'll put a poll out there. Ben, do you want to?
Yeah, let me go ahead and put that poll. All right. I'm going to publish that one.
Cool.
Yeah, love to know how you would rate your current level of SEO expertise.
Fantastic.
I've got an idea, being that this is WP beginner, but we'll see.
No, definitely. Yeah. And all that people have started using the poll now. That's cool. Awesome. Let's see where everyone's coming from. Jack, Florida. Lindsay, Florida as well. Diadri, Ireland. Monica, Maryland. Okay. Arizona, Mexico. Cool. Keep on dropping in where you're coming from, guys, so we can see who's attending, and you can say hi in the chat. And then in the next 30 seconds, we'll get rolling with this workshop. I hope everyone's having a great day wherever they're joining from. It's certainly sunny here in the UK, so I've had to pull all the blinds down just to make sure that everyone can see me. Cool.
Nice.
Okay, so yeah, that poll looking pretty good. So it's looking like we're either as a newbie or getting there at the moment with most people. Is that something you expected, Ben?
That's exactly. Yep. I
Yeah.
kind of expected really heavy on this end, but I'm good. It's good to see some seasoned people as well who understand SEO, most SEO concepts. So yeah,
Cool.
but majority is exactly what I thought. Yeah.
Fantastic. Cool. Yeah. And then let's have a look where everyone's joining. So we've got loads of people, Europe, Turkey, Canada. Yeah, this is a really good turnout. Thanks so much for joining, guys. Right, cool. I'm going to stop waffling and now we'll get into the workshop. So welcome everyone to this WP Beginner workshop. This workshop is called How to Use Google Data to Boost Search Rankings with WordPress. Yes, there is a little typo on that screen. I couldn't get rid of it. Sorry about that, everyone, but that is how these things roll. So welcome to this WP Beginner workshop. I am Ryan. I am from the video content team at WP Beginner, and these workshops are completely about offering you guys value, getting insight into how some tools work, and giving you the information you need to succeed with your sites. That's exactly what WP Beginner is about. It's about giving you helpful content that helps you grow your sites, whether you're a small business, blogger, or just a single site owner, basically. So hopefully you're going to get some value from these workshops. Just let us know. Drop a comment in the chat. Actually, I want to know if anyone's actually joined a previous workshop. That'd be pretty cool to know. But yeah, for this workshop, some of you might know that I take the workshop sometimes, but for this workshop, we have a very, very special guest joining us today, and that guest is Ben, who is the president of All-in-One SEO. And Ben, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and take this away. And guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in the chat right now and I'm going to say hi to a bunch of people. If you've got any questions during this whole workshop, drop them in the chat. There is a Q&A only section as well. We will have a Q&A with Ben. This is super, super valuable. So if anyone's got a question about what they see on the screen or anything about All-in-One SEO or SEO for Ben, drop it in the Q&A only section on the chat, and then we'll filter through those and then we'll do a Q&A later. But I'm going to stop talking. Ben, it's all yours. I'm going to drop off now.
Hey, awesome. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate that. And I want to just say thank you, everybody, for joining me today. I'm really excited to be here to kind of help you unlock the full potential of your website search performance using tools that you may already have at your disposal, but may or may not understand how to use. And if not, we're going to show you what tools to use to do that. So it's going to be a very hands-on where I'm going to share my screen and walk through that. But as the title of this webinar is about how using Google's data, so we're going to show you how to integrate from WordPress directly into Google Search Console to be able to demystify the data that's there. So right now, if you logged into Google Search Console, it's pretty complex. There's a lot of tabs, and it's like, I don't really understand. A lot of people don't understand how to take that and say, what are actionable insights that I can use to help my site to rank better? That's what we're going to do today. We're going to help demystify that a little bit. And, so I'm the president of All-in-One SEO. That is the original WordPress SEO plugin started in 2007, so it's been around for a long time, and we would consider it the best. We've been doing a lot of work innovating it. AWESEO acquired it in 2020, and we rewrote every single line of code. We wanted to make it better and more powerful, and we added a ton of new features. And so today we're going to talk specifically about one of those features, but I am going to do a basic overview. Before I dive into the hands-on stuff, though, I want to just mention that you're going to want to stick around to the end. We have a really sweet offer just for you guys, attendees of this webinar. And as a hint, you'll get to try out the powerful tools that we are going to be demoing today for absolutely free. So normally these are part of our paid plans, but you're going to be able to try them out for free. If you guys see the value of it, you'll be able to use it for a while, and then you have the option to purchase it later if you want. But you'll be able to use it in the meantime, and I would love for you to stick around to see that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share. I tested this earlier, so hopefully this works. Go ahead, choose this window. All right. Can you guys see that screen, the dashboard? Just double check here. It looks like it's sharing properly. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and dive in. I think it's sharing properly. So if you don't see it, let me know. But so this is the all-in-one SEO dashboard. This is a WordPress plugin. If you guys haven't used it before, I highly recommend checking it out. You can go into your WordPress site, just go to plugins, add a new plugin, and search for AIOSEO, and it will show up right there at the top. You can also go to AIOSEO.com to check out more about it. But I'm going to just, like I said, do a very quick, brief overview of all-in-one SEO, and then we're going to dive into the actual thing that we're going to talk about today with the search statistics. So you get this really cool dashboard in all-in-one SEO. You can see like an SEO site score, which is telling you how your site is doing overall, with some important issues or recommended improvements and what are good results. And we have a complete audit checklist for that. You also have like a content overview here where you can choose pages or posts and just kind of see how things are doing. We have what we call a true SEO score, which is telling you how you're doing as far as the content that you've written and if you need to optimize it, etc. So you can look at those and see that. There's also some notification spot here. You can also get to that from any sidebar in our app to if there's any critical notifications there, anything like that, you'll be able to see those. And then some quick links here to get to some of the other stuff that I'll show you really quickly. Under the general settings area, if you have our pro version, you can add in the license key there, but you can also go to Webmaster Tools and see how to connect to all of the different web search engines and different webmaster tools that you want. Today, we're going to talk specifically about this integration with Google Search Console. But we also have things like visual breadcrumbs. And if people are scraping your site, you can add like at the end of every post or at the beginning, you can add like a watermark, so to speak. With that, we have a brand new writing assistant that came out within the last few months, which connects to another tool we have called SEO Boost. I definitely recommend you check that out. That uses some AI analysis to be able to help you to update your content to continue to improve it and make it better. We have the ability to set the way that you want your pages to look in search appearance for all your different content types, for taxonomies, etc. Image SEO, which I don't have enabled on this site right now, but it allows you to update your images so that Google can understand them a little bit better with alt tags and things like that. And then one of the newer things we have as well is author SEO, also not activated on this demo site, but the ability to kind of tap into that EEAT, which if you've heard anything about that, Google with the helpful content update and all that, they went towards this EEAT. We have this really cool add-on that helps you do that. We have a lot more with social networks, sitemaps, link assistant, which allows you it gives you some beautiful reports to be able to understand how your pages connect to each other, all of that. So there's a lot of powerful tools here in all-in SEO. But now I'm going to go ahead and dive right into the search statistics dashboard. And I just want to stress, this is a demo site. So what you're seeing here is stuff that we've curated just for this demo. This isn't an actual website I'm connecting to, but your site could look very, very similar to this, or it might look better. Like there's a lot of these red, downward trends on this, but your site might actually look a lot better. So I'm going to walk you through each of these tabs here in kind of detail and explain how this can help you to take action in your site to be able to fix your content, to improve rankings, and all of that. So just a quick overview. You've got a date range here. You can manually set any date range, or you can choose some of our presets here for last 7 days, 28 days, 3 months. One of the things to note about this is this comes directly from Google. So this isn't something where it's like, hey, this is exactly what you would see in your Google Search Console based on the date range that you select. So here on the dashboard, you have your basic search impressions for that date range. You've got your total clicks, your average click-through rate, and then the average position of all your content. Right next to it, you have the keyword positions. This is a really cool report that's showing you like the keywords that your site is ranking for. How many of those are in the top 3, 4 through 10, 11 through 50, 50 through 100, etc. And you can just kind of hover over these to see like that data pop right there. We then have this keyword rankings report, which is a very just kind of a quick overview of like what are the top ranking keywords by clicks, like what are people actually clicking on, so you can see those here. And then you have a winning and losing tab. This uses a proprietary algorithm that we've come up with to try to help you see like which keywords are you starting to rank for and which ones you're losing rankings for. And so we'll have a couple places where we talk about this algorithm, but this is a quick way that you can see, okay, I need to go in and figure out what's going on with my rose garden keyword. I used to rank for that and I'm not. Maybe the content's outdated. I need to go update that, etc. And then we have a content performance that's similar to the keyword one, where we're showing you the top pages by clicks, and then top losing, like which ones are you losing using that same algorithm, which pages are you losing rankings for, and top winning as well. So just a quick overview. Really quickly, I'm going to talk about this as well. This also shows up in the content in the next tab that we'll look at, but you have your index status of the page. It's showing you whether it was indexed or not. You've got your true SEO score, which is our score that's telling you how well your content is optimized, and then clicks, impressions, positions, etc. If you click on any one of these pages, it's going to open up a detailed view of that page. We have a speed test built in here. We're showing you any suggested changes that we think you might need to do to help update that, the analysis of your headline, kind of the tracking of the focus keyword that you put on that article. We're tracking the ranking for it, so you can see how well it's done over time. And then you've got other things like that Google indexing, any redirects you might have, SEO meta, etc. But this view right here is really, really powerful, and I want to tell you why. It's very similar to that one that you saw on the front page and then of the whole site, but this is specifically for this piece of content. Where has it ranked over time, right? And so then you can also see here we have these little Google logos, and these are when Google released algorithm updates. So if they came out with a big update and you see a decrease on your page around that time, you know that page was probably affected by that update. So you can go try to make changes to help that. One of the other things that I couldn't get in the demo today, but if you go in and you change, let's say you change your SEO title, we're going to track that with a feature called SEO revisions, and that's going to show up here as well. So it might be that this spot right here, you updated a title to be something that was a little bit more relevant, and then Google picked that up and you started to rank higher again. So that would show up here. You would see, okay, you made the title change on this date, etc. But also if you go and make changes to your content, if you update the post content, we'll show another icon with like a WordPress logo saying, hey, you made changes to your content and that happened on this date. So we're really trying to bring in this cohesive experience so that you as a beginner can come in here, or as someone who's trying to learn and understand SEO and be able to say, hey, I made a change on this date. What kind of impact did that have? And this graph will be able to show you that. You'll be able to see that SEO performance for that. All right, so then if you scroll down, you'll also see keywords. So these are all the keywords that this specific page is ranking for, and you'll be able to see those here. Now, this is good and bad, because if you're ranking for a ton of keywords, that's fine, but you might have other content that's ranking for that same keyword, and that's where you might have some what would be called cannibalization. We'll talk about that a little bit more later, but you can kind of see here the idea. You could add this to our keyword rank tracking if you wanted to track that keyword, and then you can get more information about like what are all the pages on your site that this one keyword is ranking for. That's that cannibalization that I was talking about.
Hey, Ben.
Yes.
Some people are asking, can you just slow down slightly on the explanations for things? Because they're finding it a little bit hard to keep up too much.
Yeah, yeah, totally. There's a
Yeah.
lot to cover, so I'm trying to get it in, but I absolutely, and we're recording this, right? So that
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can go
definitely.
back and look
100%.
at it later. Okay.
Yeah.
I will definitely work to slow down here. Absolutely.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you. Good feedback. All right. So anyway, so if you're looking at these keywords here for this specific page, you'll be able to see, again, all of the ones that this page is ranking for. And then if you kind of go down into the scope here, you'll be able to see other pages that this keyword is also ranking for. All right, so we're going to get back out of this view here, and we're going to go to the next tab, which if you're on this page and you clicked open report, it's just going to open that next tab for you. So that's kind of, that dashboard will open up each individual tab here, and we'll go through those one at a time. All right, so again, this is the whole site overview on this page, and you can see those Google updates like we talked about. But then you go down here and you'll see more of the content specifically here. So one of the things that you can do is you can click on top losing. And this is, if you're looking for those actual insights, what can I do to fix content that used to rank or doesn't rank, or a brand new piece of content, figuring that out. Top losing is going to really help you here, because you're going to be able to see at a glance some of those pages that used to rank and didn't. Now we're going to give you on another tab a more detailed report of that, but this is just a quick way to find that content. So then you can click on it and say, okay, I'm down 21,000 points from the previous period, so I need to go look at where I can figure that out and do that. So again, you can click on that page. It's going to give you suggested changes here, things that you can do. Your meta description may not display correctly. This is far below the recommended number of words, so maybe increase the number of words on your content, etc. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to update that. Headline analysis, if you just had homepage as your SEO title, that's probably not a great headline. You're going to want to go in and make sure that title for your page is a little bit better. So we have a lot of those tools that will help you with that. And then again, the focus keyword train and all that. So we just went through this, so I'm going to go back to here. That's pretty much, you can look for any piece of content here. Just do a quick search, how to garden, and it's going to bring that here to the top. So if you know of a piece of content that you want to look for, you can do that and find it as well. All right, so I'm going to pause here on content. We're going to get back to a little bit more of that content decay stuff, but we're going to go ahead and move to the keyword rank tracker here. All right, so in the keyword rank tracker, this is specifically targeting keywords, and right away you have some graphs. Before I get to the tracker, I want to show you that you can go to this all keywords tab, and this is just kind of a list of all the keywords that we were able to pull from Google that your site is currently ranking for. So it's a very quick, easy way to be able to find, like what is your site actually doing in search results, and what keywords are they ranking for. So you can come in here and you can look at those really quickly. We sort by default from clicks, so you can see, okay, a lot of people are clicking on, where's the Garden of Eden? I mean, that's one of the keywords that people are ranking for, and somehow they're coming to my site about gardening, and I don't really have anything about that, but hey, that's cool, I can see that. And then what time does Olive Garden close? Like, okay, I'm getting a lot of clicks, so maybe I need to write an article about Olive Garden and say, hey, how we're different from Olive Garden, or maybe Olive Garden should use some homegrown vegetables for my garden. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can look at this and see, okay, what can I do from that to start to figure out some of those things to be able to get more valuable content from my readers. Anyway, so there's a lot of valuable insights here for that. But at any point, you can go ahead and click on, and this one's actually added already, so you can see we remove it. But if I wanted to say when to plant tomatoes and add that to my keyword rank tracker, what it's going to do is it's going to, in the background, it's going to take me back to that other tab that we started on, but it's going to bring up this modal where it's going to add it here and allow me to include it to a group. So let me create a new group called gardening, just in general. And if I wanted to, I could add some additional keywords that were in that group. I don't want Olive Garden or Garden of Eden in those, but I can then create that group. And then I can go ahead and click add keywords. And so what it's going to do is it's going to, add it here to the top. I can see these are all the clicks for that keyword. If at any point I want to, I can filter down by gardening, and it's going to show me those keywords. But then what it's going to do is it's going to update the graphs above to show based on that group that I'm in. So it'll show you these are the keywords in that group. This is how you're doing overall, etc. At any point, I can then click on the little arrow here next to the keyword, and it will show me, first of all, related keywords. So this is really cool if you're like, what are some other keywords that I can try to rank for if I'm writing an article on like how to build a garden box? So you have a lot of other things. These are coming from Google where people are searching for these. Now, this is a pretty silly, like how to build a garden box on the moon. I don't know why people would search for that, but these are things that are coming from those results from Google, and they'll show you here. Now, again, just take in mind that this is a demo site, so some of these things are not exactly, but that's the idea here. It's really powerful and allows you to do that. You can add that keyword to the keyword rank tracker if you want, and go from there. But then you can also click on keyword ranking pages, and you'll be able to see these are the pages that are currently ranking for that keyword. Okay, again, let me just talk right here about the cannibalization piece. You might have heard that term. It might be a little foreign. What does that mean? What that means is you might have 2 articles that you've written, or in this page, in this situation, there's 5 here, where it's ranking for this one specific keyword. It's ranking multiple articles from your site, which means that one of your articles is taking away clicks from another article. So you either want to consolidate that, where you put all of those into one article, or you separate them out and make them rank for different things. You say, okay, this one's going to target this. I'm going to rewrite the content on this page so that it ranks for other things. I want to refocus that somewhere else. And the reason for that is because you want the one article to rank as high as possible. And if you have another article that's competing for that space, then you're going to start taking away clicks. So it's a very powerful piece right here to be able to see that and be able to understand, hey, how can I continue to optimize my content so that this article ranks for this keyword and this article ranks for that keyword, etc. Again, this is a demo site, so we're showing a lot of stuff here just to give you that idea, but I want you to take that to be able, this is one of the most important things that you can do with the Google data, is to be able to see how to separate out your content so that it doesn't cannibalize itself. All right, very cool. So now what I want to do is go into our next tab called Content Rankings. And by the way, if there's any questions you guys have, remember what Ryan said and put those in the Q&A. We can go back and I can continue to share my screen and talk through these things if we need to. But I really want to be able to get to all the content that I have here. So just keep that in mind, that I'm moving through these things. But as you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. So, all right, so then let's go to our Content Rankings tab. So what this tab is, this is a little bit of a different report. You might notice that the date range is gone up here, and that's because this report is spanning over the last 12 months, and it will never change. This is part of it. Now, it's real-time data that comes in when you run that report, and it will bring in that data, and will say, over the last 12 months, how did this specific piece of content rank each month, and what has happened to it over that time. So you can see here the homepage has dropped by a lot of points, and you can look at this to see, like, in April of 2022, it had this many points. May, it went, you can see it went, and then it peaked and it went up. In November, there was some huge peak and it went up, and then December, it just dropped off a rock. And then January, it went down even more. And so then something that changed maybe in February or March helped it to start recovering. So you can see it's slowly recovering here. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, number one, this was an article that at one point ranked really, really well for you, and it's no longer ranking. So take time, open that up, look at that report, look at that page, and see what could have happened between those times. Now, you might have been running a promotion or something, like November is a big month for a sale or something, and maybe a lot of people came, and so some of that is just seasonal, and you're gonna see that here. But maybe there was something else, like on this How to Garden article, it ranked really well in June of this year, which these years are really out of date, and that's okay. That's part of the demo. But in June of that year, it ranked really well, but then it kind of just went downhill. So maybe there's other things that you could do here to continue to update and make that content better, right? So but it's giving you that visual representation here so that you can see that and you can understand and you can help. Now, if you go to the bottom of our list, you're going to also see pages in here that are doing well. And that's kind of the point of this, is that we're going to take all your content, but we're going to sort it by worst to best. So you can continue to go through that and see, okay, this article has continued to increase in rankings. We're getting a lot of clicks. A lot of people are coming to that. It's doing well. So you can keep an eye on that, and you can continue to foster that. And if you see it start to drop, then you can go back and update that. So that's what the content decay report is. Let me go next to index status. All right, so this is a brand new thing that we just released within the last few weeks, and it is a kind of a niche, more of a niche report. But the idea is to be able to quickly see content that you might be having trouble getting onto Google in the first place, right? So in this example, everything is indexed. We don't have any issues. So I'm not going to be able to show you all of those details, but I'll just walk you through kind of what this report shows, and then you'll be able to quickly discover those issues, and they'll surface right to the top, and then you can go fix that content. If you're like, oh, that should be ranking. Why is that not ranking? Or I'm sorry, index, that should be showing up on Google. Why is it not showing up on Google? So if we go here, we'll be able to see really quickly that we have some filters, like you can choose what post type. I just have pages. I don't have any posts on this demo site, so there's just pages showing up here. We can see all of our content that's here and the status. Is it indexed? Yes or no? Is it blocked by robots.txt? Yes or no? Has it been fetched by Google? Yes or no? So you might have two checks here and one like, I think it's like an orange exclamation mark if it hasn't been crawled yet or hasn't been added there. But then you can go down and you can choose like crawled, not indexed. So Google gives back a status and saying, hey, we've crawled this page, but it is not indexed yet. And once it's indexed, we'll let you know. So that's just kind of a waiting period for you. Discovered not indexed is a slightly different status that's there as well. And then other not indexed, and then no results yet would be another one where it's like, hey, we don't have any results yet. Maybe Google just hasn't picked that up. So we're giving you the ability to be able to check that. Maybe there was an error or something. And there's also, if we go back here to page fetch, if Google's trying to get that page and it returns an error, you'll be able to see those right here. And the benefit of that is that you can go in and say, like, why was there an error? Maybe there was a fatal error on your site, or it returned a redirect and it went off-site somewhere else, or something like that. There's a lot of different reasons why that might happen. And so we're surfacing that really quickly for you so that you can come in and see that as you add new content or update content or change things on your site. These statuses might change over time. And so this report surfaces that so that you're able to see that really quickly. So in this demo, everything is indexed correctly as it should be. And that's what we hope your site would look like as well. All right. I believe that's pretty much everything that I had to cover here and today, but I wanted to make sure that we had time for Q&A. Ryan, do you have, is there anything that maybe you saw in the chat or the questions that I should address before we jump into that?
Hey there,
besides
guys.
me slowing down,
yeah, cheers. Thanks so much for doing that, Ben. Yeah, no, I know how hard it is in Flow when you're trying to get through all these things and all these concepts and all these ideas. And thanks so much for putting that together and giving us an overview of search statistics. And it's got some fantastic information in there. It totally will help a lot of people trying to understand their website a lot better and where it can go and what you can do with it and things like that. Yeah, so there are a lot of questions for the Q&A. So we'll move on to that in a second. Do you want to do?
Yes. So what I wanted to mention really quickly is our special offer. So do we have a slide for that, right? I want to get that up. So I'll stop sharing. And here we go. So what our special offer is, so search statistics, what I have been showing you today is in our elite plan that we sell. But what I want to give you guys is the ability to try this for free for 14 days. And then once, if you decide that you want to keep that, it will then be 70% off discount for your first year. So this is our best deal. We have never given this deal to anybody else. This is the best deal that we have for this, but we really want you guys to experience it and try it out. And so you can just go to aioseo.com/webinar-discount, and that URL will allow you to, it should take you right to the checkout page, to the cart, and add it there for you. If we had, in testing, we had some issues where some folks were like, hey, it wasn't adding to the cart or whatever. Just try it in an incognito window or something like that if you're seeing that issue. I think it should work now. We might have ironed out the issue there. But this will allow you, you'll put in your credit card, but you won't pay anything. And then for 14 days, you'll be able to try it out. And if you're like, hey, this isn't for me, go ahead and cancel it. But we hope that you really see the value in this and that it really helps to surface those things and for you to be able to see how Google data can actually help you to improve your content and continue to get better at what you're doing and at the way that you're presenting and optimizing your content.
Yeah, and that is a fantastic offer. Thank you for that, Ben. Yeah, and who doesn't
Yeah.
love something free for 2 weeks? You know, you can get to try it out. You know, have it on the site, and then see how it goes. Definitely, and there's a lot more to all-in-one SEO outside
Hmm.
of search statistics as well. So there's a lot to get in there as well. I have dropped in the chat as well. Anyone that's interested in getting started with all-in-one SEO, or I've seen a flash of a few things on the screen, that might have piqued their interest. WP Beginner actually does have a free complete SEO course, all-in-one SEO course on the site. I dropped that in the chat. There's, I think, 75 lessons, so it pretty much goes through the whole of all-in-one SEO, and will cover everything. And also combined with what Ben's just shown you right here, that'll be an awesome resource for anyone looking to kind of up their game with SEO and their website and things like that as well. But I'm going to move over to the Q&A because I know there's a lot of questions and there's people probably waiting for their few answers. And the good thing about this is that Ben's here, so I don't have to try and find the answers for anywhere. We've got Ben who knows everything about all-in-one SEO. So if you've still got any questions, drop them in the Q&A and we'll go through them right now. Okay, so first question is from so someone's asked, how does the writing assistant for content work in different languages? Does it work in specific languages?
So our writing assistant right now is English only, but that's something we're working to actively change, right? We're working to include more analysis and reporting for that. At the end of the day, like at the core of what Writing Assistant does is it's analyzing all the other articles and competitor articles that are ranking alongside of your article or alongside the one you're writing. And so if you are looking in a specific region like, Google UK, which would be English, or like Google Brazil, let's say, or something like that, the articles that would be ranking there are probably going to be in that other language. And so it's going to do some analysis and it's going to do a pretty good job. But our interface and everything related to that is in English right now. And we're working to update that to make it a little bit more. And then, of course, every language has nuances, right? Where it's it might be that, you wouldn't use this word or you would use this word. So there's certain things that we have to add in there to just make sure that it works well with that language. But you can definitely try it out and see. And we would love any feedback that you have, like, hey, this isn't doing a good job or whatever. But it's going to help you and it's going to give you suggestions in that language. It will, because it's going to pick those up and it's going to analyze that content and say, hey, these are some suggestions. It's not quite finished for anything besides English. So,
yeah, that's cool. And
work in progress.
Yeah, definitely. And I know you and the team work really hard at making this thing super, super easy to use, super as taking away a lot of the time that anyone would put into, searching through, Google Search Console and stuff like that. It's all collated in your WordPress dashboard. So I know you guys are trying to iterate and improve things as we go on. So yeah, definitely. That's a fantastic answer. And so the next question is from Cynthia, actually. So when ranking and tracking, are there two sections for national and regional charts?
So no, right now this is just basically when you get the data from Google, it's just one pot, like everything that's coming in. We do want to add the ability to set it down by region or country or things like that, but that is not something we have at this point. So right now it's just everything. We just send the request to Google for and we just retrieve everything that it has right now. But that is definitely a feature request that we have and we're looking to add hopefully in the near future. It really doesn't take that much to add it, but it's just a matter of how to figure this out in our interface.
Cool.
Yeah.
And some people have asked this one. Does this align with Google Analytics, what you've just shown on screen?
So Google Analytics is a very different product, right? So that's a great question, because we actually, All-in-One SEO used to have an integration with Google Analytics, but we've gone ahead and moved away from that. So Google Analytics is user tracking on your website, and in a lot of countries now, like, people have disabled it or don't want it. So the picture that you get in Google Analytics, while it's a good picture, it's not really complete. It's not, it doesn't give you the full picture. Whereas the picture that you get from Google Search Console, this is one-to-one what people searched for, clicked on, and got to your site. So you're going to be able to see everything, because this is all on Google's end, right? This isn't on our end. And so we're just taking that data from Google and showing it to you in your WordPress dashboard. But this is solely related to your organic, search traffic and what's coming from Google, and the ability to see that on your site. So you're going to get that one-to-one here. Google Analytics will have, you might have somebody that comes to your site direct. So they're going to show that data. They're going to show, hey, this person came directly to your site and this is what they did on your site. But this is through actual search results in Google. That's what's showing up here.
Cool. Thanks, Faber.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think Shahin has asked a couple of questions. They're a former Yoast customer and now proud all-in-one SEO customer. They manage IT for more than 30 medical and legal offices, and they're starting to take over SEO on their site. One thing they've been seeing that all the clients who are being suggested are at the top of local map suggestions have one thing in common: they get geo coordinates. So she says that they are looking at that geo coordinates. This might not be an offering in all-in-one SEO, so they just wanted to know if that's off. Is that something that's coming?
Yeah, so we do have the ability to display a map, but it's not going to be outputting the geo coordinates right now, and that's something that we can definitely look at adding. I think if I remember correctly, that was we have local SEO updates coming, hopefully by the end of this quarter, if not the next quarter. We're looking at kind of doing an update there and overhaul that, because we have a lot of things in the roadmap, and it's definitely one of those. Because as we continue to put out things, we want to be able to see that we want to continue to improve all of our offerings for our customers. So that's definitely on the roadmap for sure. But you can display a map, and I want to say that there are some schema related things with that map as well, but I can't remember if it's different than the geo coordinates. So I guess the question I would have is, are you using the maps on the location pages or anything like that? And if not, try doing that and seeing if that helps. But I will definitely look at the outputting of the geo coordinates separately and see what we can do about that. Yeah.
Awesome. And the next, well, actually, there is another question there. So in the SEO forums, they hear that people say, I've got 200 keywords, I have 800 keywords, and they don't understand where or how they are using these keywords. So can you break that down a little bit in terms of what that might mean from a beginner point of view, or from someone that doesn't quite understand that?
Absolutely. So so a lot of that is probably coming from where they're looking at a tool like in the past, it would be SEMrush or Ahrefs or something like that, where you're looking and you're saying, okay, what keywords is my site ranking for? And you'll be able to get that list. Essentially, we do that now in all-in-one SEO, right? You're able to go to the keyword rank tracker, click on all keywords, and see all of them there. 800 is a tiny number. Some people have 25,000. Like there's so many different number of keywords that your content could rank for. But then you have folks that will take that and will start tracking them. And they're like, hey, I want to track these keywords. How can I track these keywords? And so they might have a list of like 200 keywords that they are tracking to be able to see how their content is ranking, right? And so that's where our keyword rank tracker comes in, because you can start adding those in and be able to track those keywords. Now, 200, 800, that's a lot. But if you have a lot of content, then that might be where you have that. And so we do have some limits right now for our keyword rank tracker on how many you can track right now, but we will be increasing those soon. That's just because of just figuring out the best plans and all that. We wanted to start small and work our way out. And so each plan will have a different level of that. But I'm pretty sure that's what people would be talking about when they're looking at tracking keywords, is mainly around that number. And like, I have this many keywords, I have that many keywords. It's probably around tracking. But at any point, your site could be ranking for any number of keywords from 0, if you just start your site, up to 25,000, more, thousands and thousands, because Google will put that all in there. And as long as it's in there, you can get that info through this integration.
Yeah, cool.
To be able to see that.
Fantastic. And someone asked, when you were sharing your screen, what version of all-in-one SEO were you actually showing there?
Yes, so this is the elite version. So right now our search statistics integration is only available in our elite version. We are looking at potentially adding some of the features down into lower plans, but that's something that we're still mapping out. But at this point, the elite version is the one that I'm using, and that's the one that you would need to use all of this.
Cool, awesome. And Matt's asked, Yoast will not let me track specific taxonomy types. For example, I have courses, which is an iteration of a post. Can all-in-one SEO do that?
So what we have right now is basically just your content, right? So when you're looking at it, but we do have the ability to filter by content types, which would be posts or pages or anything else that you might have. I don't think we have it filtered by taxonomy, but that's actually a great feature request and something that would be really simple to add. And so I'm actually taking notes here. I'm like, all right, this is what folks are asking about. So I think we can go ahead and probably get that in relatively quickly, because it's just another filter to say, hey, only show the posts here that are by this specific taxonomy or whatever. So that's really simple. So thank you. Was that Matt? Thank you, Matt,
yeah.
for that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, cheers, Matt. And okay, so.
And also, I want to just add, I'm not sure that Yoast even has this type of integration with Google at this point. Like, obviously you can see certain levels of tracking there, but I don't even know that they have it to this level. So that's something to just keep in mind, is that I think I saw another question from somebody asking about, like, can you use this alongside Yoast? And I do want to answer that, because I think that was from DJ. Our products would conflict with each other, and that is an issue with different SEO plugins. Is you have an SEO plugin, and what they do and what we do is very similar. We do pretty much all the same things that Yoast does. We have some additional stuff like search statistics and things like that. But if you're using two SEO plugins side by side, that will be an issue, because you'll be outputting duplicate meta. You'll make a change here, but it won't be reflected in Google, because Google will pick up the other meta. So there's just a lot of issues that you could have with that. So keep that in mind, is that you do only want to use one SEO plugin, not multiples.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's something that some people, I've seen it a bit further on down as well, that people have asked. So I'm glad you actually have answered that one. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Ben. Okay, so Piers asked basically, how good does the keyword analysis work for keywords in other languages? So this is probably very similar to what we were talking about writing, right?
So from what I showed you today, whatever the keywords are, it's just rank tracking, and it's just, performance based on that. So this is going to be, completely accurate, where you're going to see, okay, this keyword in this language, how's my content ranking for that? All of that's coming from Google, and that's going to exactly be what you want. For the analysis that we have, we actually have our writing assistant, which we talked about, but then we also have our True SEO scoring system. And what that will do is that will take, okay, what is the keyword you're trying to rank for? And it will analyze your content, and we'll look to see, like, does this work? So we have a number of languages that does work for. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's like maybe 20, 30 languages, something like that. And it has a lot of good things like sentiment and different things like that for those languages. And so that is really good and robust. Now, there are some that things change, and we're continuing to update. We're trying to add more. We're going to have planned a whole revamp of that to continue to improve it and make it better. But it does pretty well for a lot of different languages. And so that takes your keyword and tries to analyze your content to be able to determine that. But as far as this goes, what we showed today, this won't matter the language. It won't matter the keyword, what language it's in. This will be good and accurate.
Cool. Awesome. So Carlos asked, if you would recommend one single thing to do with all-in-one SEO for a newbie, which one would it be to get the best results? Sort of their low-hanging fruit. This newbie is he's saying he's disciplined, following general recommendations for good SEO ranking. So yeah. Have you got an inside track there?
Yes. So what I would say is, specifically for this, like, to have at your fingertips the ability to find content that used to rank and didn't anymore, or that you just put out. Look at our content decay report. Look at what content is no longer ranking that used to. Open up the details page like I showed you, and go through our suggested changes and see if there's anything there that you can update. Change your headline, change your description, change different things like that to be able to update it. Go into the page itself. Use our writing assistant if you can. So this is a lot of things, but at the end of the day, find one piece of content. That's my advice. Find one piece of content that used to rank and no longer does, and figure out, like use these tools to figure out why it's not ranking anymore as best you can, tweak it, update it, change it, and resubmit it. And so then through our RSS sitemap and through the XML sitemaps that we have, we will send that back to Google and say, hey, this page has been updated. Google will recrawl it, reindex it, and hopefully at that point you'll start to see recoverings and rankings. So that would be my number one thing, is to do this one at a time. You know, do one and then do another and then do another, and just keep going down that list. And that's what I would do, because but if you're just starting out and you're just now writing a blog, or you're just looking at how to do SEO, start with, use All in SEO to be able to help you write that content well to start with, and then Google will pick that up and hopefully rank it as well.
Yeah, and it's important to say how much time that actually saves. You know, like when you're talking about decay content, or content decay, sorry, I've done the process where I would go into Search Console myself personally, try and find all that information about what it's not ranking for, a blog post is not ranking for, and that's really time consuming, like for each single post that you're trying to find and things like that. So I mean, how much time do you think that your tool saves people, really, if you could put an estimate on it?
Tons and tons of times, hours, depending on because everybody does SEO at a different pace, right? I would recommend do it as frequently as you can. So this might actually allow you to do it on a weekly basis or something like that. If you're like, okay, I can quickly go find an article to optimize. Whereas before it'd be like, I don't really know where to start. And that's what I get from a lot of our beginner users, is they install it, and you can install All in SEO and kind of let it coast. And it will, we've gotten stories of people who just do that and their content ranks, and that's awesome. That's good. Like, we can't guarantee that or anything. There's no way, but sometimes that just happens.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I want to be able to carve out time to continue to optimize, I'm going to get a leg ahead by doing that. This instead of having to purchase a ton of different tools to do this research for you, we bring it all in-house into All in SEO. And the value is really there. I that's what I want to really stress, is that value is there because it's all in-house. It's in one place. It's really quickly easy to identify those low-hanging fruits, those content that are like, okay, I can optimize this or whatever. Or hey, what are some other articles that I should write about? Okay, well, here's a keyword. This is a keyword that's out there. I can use that to write a new article for. So there's a lot of powerful tools here. And so I don't know that I can put a finger on it, because it really depends on the person and how much time they're putting into it. But it saves me loads of time, and I use this every day. So
cool, yeah. And Frank's asked a really good question here. He said, obviously, Google is mandatory in SEO, but what about other services, Bing, etc.? So talk about that.
So obviously Google's the big one. That's why our integration here is with Google. But we do integrate with Bing, and you can add this site. Bing has a number of things, like you can import a site from Google Search Console into Bing directly, and you're good to go. Or you can add the meta tag into All in SEO, and it will find it, and it will pull it in. So we do support that integration. Most of the best practices, I would say like 99% of the best practices you're doing for Google will also help you in Bing. Like, you're going to see that there's if you update a piece of content and it starts to rank better, you're going to see that same thing in Bing, because in a lot of ways they're looking for and doing the same things that Google is. Yeah. So our recommendation is, you don't want to exclude them. If you can, get in their webmaster tools and see how your content's doing in there. And we've toyed around the idea with having a Bing integration that does this, but at this point, this is the primary focus with Google. And I would say that if you're winning here, you're going to be winning in Bing.
Yeah, cool. And Cynthia's asked, I find that when I see low ranking and suggestions that I should improve my title, for example, it's guesswork to try and fix it. I try this word or that word and watch the ranking, but I don't know how to zero in on an appropriate word to boost the ranking. Is there a hack you've got here, Ben?
So one of the things that we have is, and this is actually going to be greatly expanded within the next few months. So it's a little sneak peek of some updates that we're doing. But right now we have an integration with OpenAI so that you can put in an API key and help you generate titles and generate descriptions right there inside of the post editor. The benefit of that is that it will take your content and it will analyze it and say, what is a good title? What is a good description? And it's using some of those, some of the prompting behind the scenes to be able to help you to come up with some ideas. And it'll give you like 5 ideas, and you can choose which one you like and try it out. But you can also try one and see if anything happens or changes. And if not, change it again. Now, obviously, you want your title and description to match your content. It can't just be something crazy or off the wall or whatever. But I would definitely recommend using that integration to give you ideas and suggestions. And like I said, we're going to be expanding on that. There's going to be some more stuff coming along those lines. But it's a very powerful tool. Our teams use that when they're like, okay, we're going to look for a SEO title and description to help with this. They put in the content, they click on the generator tool, and it will bring it up and it will show you, and it's very fast. So I would definitely recommend doing that. At the end of the day, it is a lot of guesswork. And so what you're doing is you're doing your best guess, and we're giving you some ideas for how, like, maybe it's too short, maybe it's too long, maybe you don't have your keyword in there. There's certain best practices that you want to try and follow. And that will give you those examples. But other than that, you're going to try different things and see and understand a little bit more about what people are looking for. But also with our writing assistant, you're going to see what the titles are for every other page that shows up in those search results around what your keyword is. And so you can say, oh, well, they're adding this in here. Let me try that out. Let me do a little bit of competitor analysis and figure out what they're doing. And maybe that will help me with ranking as well.
Yeah, that's cool. So Stefan asked, can I look at product pages as well as pages and posts in search statistics?
Yes. So it will bring in all different content types, right? So if you have product pages, they should show up there as well. The problem sometimes with product pages is it's harder to optimize those. If you have if you're using WooCommerce or Easy Digital Downloads or something like that, and they're generating a product page, it's a lot harder to go in there and like optimize those pages. But you can definitely pull them in and see. And every piece of content on your site that Google has indexed and knows about will show up here, and we'll just break it down by where does that come from? Is that a product? Is that a page or a post or whatever? So
yeah, cool. Lynn's asked a question, and I think you showed this in the demo, but advice for where I can find keywords for examples. I've worked on SEO for my site, but a lot of the words are repeated. I wondered if there is a way to find alternate suggestions.
So there's a couple things. Like obviously what you can do is you can look for related keywords to what you're doing by, you go to the keyword rank tracker, you hit the little arrow, and it's going to show you like, here are related keywords that you could look for that specific keyword. But that, I would say that those are more long tail, those are more additional keywords where you could say, okay, I'm going to try to write about that in my content to include, if I'm talking about gardening, I'm going to talk about, maybe it's garden tools. So I need to talk about hose and whatever, all the different tools. I'm drawing a blank right now, but all the different tools, gardening gloves, like whatever, like I want to make sure that I add all of those in there so I can cover a broad topic here. So that's an example or an idea. But if you're like, I need suggestions for other content, first and foremost with One SEO, you can come in here and you can see maybe there's keywords you hadn't even thought of that your pages are semi-ranking for. And you can go look at that and go, oh, I can write an article about that, and a completely new article about that topic. So you can pull that up. But people are actually searching for that keyword. That's a keyword that someone searched for. A little known fact, maybe, we actually have another product called Low Fruits. And this is lowfruits.io for those of you that want to look it up. And this is a product of One SEO. And what you can do is you can actually put in your domain, and you can put in your basic information there, and it will give you suggestions for keywords. So this is a very powerful tool. And I would recommend everybody take the opportunity to look at that and see how you can get additional keyword ideas. And then it will tell you how hard it is to rank for that. And so we want to continue to, to help people with that as well. So that's a great question.
Cool. Yeah. And I've just dropped that in the chat. If anyone wants to check out Low Fruits, I've just dropped the URL in the chat. So Dan's got a question. I think this is very similar to what we've answered before, really. He's asking if he's got a blog in Hebrew, will all-in-one SEO work?
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
So I believe Hebrew is one of the supported languages for our True SEO. Again, for search statistics, for all of this analysis, it's going to work regardless of the language. It's just going to pull in, what your site is ranking for across the board. And then the writing assistant, while it will analyze search results alongside yours, which would most likely be in Hebrew. And I think you can actually, with the writing assistant, you can set your what search results you want to primarily use, what region you want to primarily use. So, but it's going to pull in results for Google Israel, and it's going to say, hey, these are the results, and this is what other pages are ranking for, and so then it will do that analysis and pull that in. So I would definitely recommend giving it a try. If you see anything where it's not working, please let us know. We want to definitely improve and continue to get better at that.
Yeah, cool. The next question that Dan had was basically, does All-in-One SEO know and to show you your ranking according to the local Google site?
So that's the piece that we are still working on, is to be able to, for you to set what country or what that you want to show this the results from, and be able to filter it down by that. So right now this is just global. This is everything in search statistics, but the country is definitely a piece that we're going to add. And what will probably happen is there's a settings page, and so then you'll be able to just choose what your default country is, and then that's what we'll use, with the ability to change that, because you can look at how's your site ranking in Israel versus Japan versus the United States versus Canada, UK, whatever. And so you probably do want that. I know that you do want to be able to see how it's doing in other places. But what is your default? Do you want it global, or do you want it to just be your country? And so we're definitely going to add that, and that's just a work in progress.
Patty asked, is it impossible to improve your SEO if your domain authority is low? I feel hopeless because my DA is only 11.
No, I mean, you can always improve SEO, right? And the more that you improve, the more that that domain authority will, and I'm assuming you're using a tool like, SEMrush or Moz or something to find that domain authority. But at the end of the day, I have seen a site with incredibly low domain authority ranking right alongside sites with high domain authority. And a lot of that has to do with the EEAT stuff, right? The expertise, experience, expertise, authority, and trust score that Google has. And if you are somebody who really knows your stuff, and you might be an accredited medical professional, or you might be whatever that, and you've gone to school for this and everything, you can add a lot of that stuff to who you are, to your bio, to your information. And as Google starts to index your site and see that, they go, okay, this person actually knows what they're talking about, and their content is relevant and it's very helpful. Like, that's the term that Google uses, helpful content. You're going to start seeing your stuff improve in rankings. And so that's what I would recommend, is take a good hard look at what you're outputting, make sure that you're following those best practices for EEAT, and that and that you also are writing in a way that is really helpful for your users. And I think you'll see good results from that.
Cool. Yeah. And Deborah asked, I get a notice that my site has a robots.txt file and wants to remove it. Should I do it?
So so that's a good question. So robots.txt in WordPress is auto-generated. Now, if you add one manually, it will override it. So all we're doing inside of our robots, we have a robots.txt editor. For those of you that are curious about this question, it's in our tools area, and that notice is related to if you're okay with WordPress having the generating one by default, we have an editor, an inline editor, so you can import it, what's in your robots.txt, and add it to the editor, and then delete it. And then that way it's easy for you to go in and update it really quickly and easily. If you're not comfortable with that, if you have a developer or somebody who's worked on your site, I would definitely ask them about it. I don't know, I'm not, without looking at that robots.txt, I don't know who generated it or who put it there or anything like that. So that's just something that you'll have to look into. It might be by your hosting provider, and you could talk with them about it and see, just depending on your plan or whatever. So, but what's built into WordPress and what we have in All-in-One SEO is definitely sufficient for pretty much everybody. And so it's very powerful, and you can definitely bring in a lot of the things that are in the old static ones.
Cool. Yeah, Ben. And some people have been asking actually in the chat. So the link on screen there takes you to a pricing page, but it applies the 2-week discount, but doesn't apply the 70% discount as well after the sign up.
It will. So it doesn't show it there. And I'm just going to double check really quickly while you're doing that, while we're talking here. It will apply it, but it applies once it goes through. So you'll see it like $0 on checkout, right? So that's kind of the initial thing. But the actual 70% discount will come off that price that you see there in the checkout. And so when it actually goes through, it will be at that discounted rate. And my goal at this point is to update it at some point so that it shows correctly in the pricing page. But this is just a unique coupon code because we have that free trial.
Yeah, cool.
So it's a little bit different, but yes, it will apply and it will reduce it down from that price.
Cool. I'm sure a lot of people are happy about that now.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's fine. Okay, so where are we going now? Michael, very interesting that you brought this up. Are there any SEO experts for hire? So basically, WP Beginner have pro services, and SEO services as part of pro services. I'll drop a link for that in the chat if anyone's interested in that. Jennifer, is it possible to see a demo of the basic plan? If so, how and where? Thanks. So I think that's pretty much covered in a lot of videos, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say you know the course that WP Beginner has, there's a lot of stuff that's covered there. We also have a money back guarantee. So if at any point, if you're like, hey, I just want to try this out and see what it includes and how, you can use our free version. I would definitely recommend giving it a shot and seeing what it's all about. We put a lot of hard work into that. There's a lot of awesome things, and you can always try it out, and you can give it a try. We have a money back guarantee. So even if you're like, hey, this isn't for me, you can get your money back. You won't have the free trial. It will charge your credit card to start with for the basic. Reach out to our support at any time at AIOSEO.com/contact and any questions that you have at any point. We answer everybody's questions, whether it's pre-sales or an existing customer or just a free user. We're going to be there to help you, to walk you through the journey. We want you to be able to for your sites to rank better, and I know that's why everyone's here. They want that too. So
no, definitely, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't take advantage of, is actually contacting you guys at All-in-One SEO and the support team and asking a question, because no question's a wrong question to ask. If you want to find something out about All-in-One SEO, the best place to go is straight to the people that make it and ask the question and see it and get that answer directly. Right, okay, so we're speeding through these. Okay, keeps on dropping to the bottom for some reason. There we go. So Tracy's asked, what if the website doesn't change often?
So yeah, good question. It might be that it should, right? Like if you're looking and you're seeing like, oh, this article used to rank and now it's not, or this page or whatever, make some updates. Go in there, see what you can do to analyze. I mean, that's kind of the point, and the idea is fresh content is going to be very helpful. So I would argue that unless you're the google.com homepage, which doesn't need to change, like there's going to be some value to going in there and refreshing the content. Sometimes you can't, but I would recommend that if you can at all possible, go in there, write a new article, update a page or post, add some more relevant, and don't over optimize. You want to be careful with that. But I think at the end of the day, like there's always things that we can do to continue to improve.
Yeah. And that's really important, because what Ben's actually, what you're saying there, Ben, is if you don't improve your website and you've got a business website, so the website for your business, and you've got competitors out there and they're creating content and you don't change much about your web page, then that will affect your ranking eventually, because Google have actually said they prefer fresh content, they need fresh content, and that's even more important now than it is than it has been before, to kind of zone in on what you need to do on your website to actually improve the content versus what else is going on there and what else Google is actually wanting, because we know that there are things like all-in-one not all-in-one SEO, the AI kind of stuff that Google's doing as well, and how that can needs information and how it kind of determines how people's websites show up. So it's really important what you've said there is like if you're not that keen on creating content or refreshing content, just take it easy and just do one update, you know, a month,
Yeah.
2 updates a month, and see how it goes, and or 2 new blog posts. Just try these tools out. You know, All-in-One SEO gives you the tools to be able to, and the confidence to be able to go and do that as well, where you're not kind of clicking around in the dark, and it will lead you through things. It will give you like the headline analyzer, that so you can, it'll put you on point. It'll give you things that about your content, how to improve your content and things like that. And that's straight out of the box, even on the light version that anyone can download as well. So, you know, if you're at that bit where you're kind of wondering whether you should update the content on your website, definitely go ahead, download All-in-One SEO and put it on your site, and just give it a try and see if that helps you make the refresh your content as well. Right, cool. And
I see a question here that I want to answer real quick. Is the 70% discount only available for the Elite plan or the Pro Plus and Base version as well? For today, this deal is just our Elite plan. Yes, that's correct. It doesn't apply to those other plans. So,
and okay, so I think I'm just going to go into the chat. I don't know if Ben, do you see any more questions in there that we haven't covered yet? Because I think there's a few that have been covered. So I'm just going to go in the chat and have a look, see if there's any questions in there.
Let's see. Okay, somebody from, did we do the one from George? I don't have a website with blogs and posts, just general company info and services.
No, go for that.
Yeah, are your SEO suggestions just as valid for my application? And I would say absolutely, right? So what's the goal of SEO? You want to rank, you want people to come to your site, you want to be able to do that. And a lot of folks have found like, hey, adding a blog is going to be helpful because it gives another touch point where folks can come to your site and be able to look at it. So we would definitely recommend looking at that avenue. But even if you don't, if you're like, okay, I'm just going to keep working with my pages and services and things like that, you need to be able to have helpful, compelling content on those pages so that they will rank. And, you know, location-based companies, if you have like a brick and mortar business where you're like, this is what I do, there's going to be a you know, more touch points. You might be in Google Maps, you might be somewhere else where people will be able to find you. And so that's helpful. If you're an online business with just services and info, that's where it's going to get a little harder, right? So you want to make sure that you definitely have that content to be able to help. So these are just as valid. And the fact of the matter is, you just adding search statistics and being able to see all those info pages and service pages and what they've done over time, you'll be able to see, oh, wow, okay, this one was good and not anymore. Maybe I should go do some updates on that page. And that's a powerful thing.
Cool. Thanks, Ben. And then Samuel's asked quite an interesting question here in the chat, is asked, how does it compare outsourcing SEO to an agency to doing it all myself with All-in-One SEO? So I suppose that depends on the context of the actual website and what you're going to be doing. But in your best way, Ben, try and answer that one.
Yeah. I mean, our goal is to allow you to be able to do this SEO, the same thing an SEO agency would do without having to pay for the agency, right? We want you to be able to do it yourself, to be able to come in here and say, what are they looking for? Here it is. This is what they would look for. These are the same things that they're going to look for. What content is not ranking that it used to, all that kind of stuff. And we're giving it to you right there in your dashboard. And so then you can make those decisions yourself and say, okay, I need to update this. I need to tweak this. I need to change this. So, and obviously, you know, WP Beginner has services as well that are going to be a lot more affordable than an agency. If you want just somebody to come in and look at it and give you more info, there's definitely going to be some benefits to that. So I would definitely recommend, you know, trying it out. It's a whole lot cheaper than hiring an agency and giving that a shot and seeing what you can do and how you can make improvements. So
definitely. And I know on your guys' website as well, you share lots of case studies which give really good information about how some people have really succeeded in using some of these tools on their website, doing it all themselves, not having an agency do it for them. And sometimes, you know, it takes away the kind of fear of, oh, well, I'm not going to understand this. Basically, All-in-One SEO takes you through the process when you get set up, and then, you know, you've got all the resources based on your website, and also, you know, WP Beginner on the YouTube channel has got a bunch of All-in-One SEO videos as well. So between all that, you know, if you spend a little bit of time just getting to understand the basics of how things work, and, you know, you can grow over time, and it is astronomical, actually, the difference between the cost of an SEO agency versus doing it yourself. So if that's going to help your business, then I definitely, like you say, give it a go with all-in-one SEO.
Yeah.
Someone's Debbie's asked, will we send in recording of this to the email? So yeah, so you'll get a follow-up email in 24 hours of where this is going to go. It's going to go on the YouTube channel, but there is a replay on here as well, so you can go back and watch through and go through all the stuff that Ben's been through in the workshop there. Someone's asked, what do you mean by don't over optimize? That's quite an interesting question.
Yeah, so you can definitely I mean, there's always a point where you can try too hard, where you're like, okay, I'm going to make this article like 10,000 words long, or I'm going to add a bunch of like keyword stuffing is a phrase where people are like, I'm just going to like put my keyword 1,000 times. Like that's kind of what I mean. Like just do best practices, steer away from like trying too hard, because I think that Google has improved over the years to be able to kind of see that as well. An update is good regardless, but I would say just be careful on that end to not like go overboard and go crazy. Like, make some initial tweaks. If you see a lot of red in our true SEO score, go ahead and fix all of those. That's fine. But then if you're like, okay, well, this used to rank and it doesn't anymore, but there's not much else I can do in true SEO. Let me just go do a bunch of other stuff that, that's where you might get to a little bit of the over optimization. So my advice would just be careful with that and how you do that, and make sure you're not going crazy or going nuts.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I've got a few more questions, Ben. Have you got time to do some?
Yeah, we can do a couple more. Sure.
Yeah, cool. So someone's asked, I have over 15 blog posts, but none of them are getting clicks. Where can I start to diagnose the issue? I think that's a really good question.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're using our tool, the first thing that I would do is see, if it's 0 clicks across the board, then you're going to, is it indexed? Is it actually in Google? Or does your content, what is the keyword that you're trying to target? We have the focus key. It's called focus key phrase right now inside of the plugin, where you would put that in and you say, this is what I'm trying to target with this article. And then we compare that to what it's actually ranking. So you can see what keywords is it ranking for. If there's none, you might get impressions on a keyword, but no clicks, right? So you can see, okay, it's definitely coming up in search results for that keyword that I'm trying to target, but it's not getting any clicks. Well, there's only 1 or 2 things you can do at that point. Like obviously Google has the ability to move it up and down based on content and things like that. So optimize your content, look at that. But as far as like, if it is somewhat high in search results and you're still not getting clicks, well, if people are seeing that, the title and the description are the only things that they can see at that point. And so that's where I would say, like, look at those things to see, like, what is your title and description, your SEO title and your meta description, and how do those things look, and what does it look like in search results? We do our best to show you what that would look like with our SEO preview tool and everything. But at the end of the day, that's where I would start. Like, look at those things and see, is it not ranking at all? Is it ranking, but it's just not getting clicks? Where is the average position for these things, et cetera, et cetera. So, and that's where I would start.
And the
also, I would write more content. If you only have 15 blog posts, write more content.
Yeah, cool. And the meta description and the title that you're talking, the SEO title that you're talking about, those are what was linked to the AI in
yes.
Yeah, so ChatGPT integration with all-in-one SEO, right? So
correct.
If they're stuck and they think, oh, well, that's the best title I can come up with, that integration is there to help solve that issue of kind of iterating those ideas and getting a better title and better description.
Exactly.
Super easy with inside your from your page there and then. Okay, so someone's asked, does AI generated content have disadvantage in search results ranking?
So, so at the end of the day, like, it all depends on the content, right? Like in SEO, you might have heard there's a joke where it depends, right? This is one of those where it depends, right? Like, if you what I would recommend, I would definitely not shy away from using AI to generate content, but you should definitely be the one that's looking at that content, making sure it makes sense, rewriting it if necessary, and having the last eyes on it. And there might be some things that it fleshes out for you, like a good outline could come from AI or something like that, and you write the rest of the article. Like, there's a lot of ways that you can use AI. But at the end of the day, when you generate content, it's really hard to know if you do it well that it was actually written by AI. And so there's, you know, in that regard, like you can have some really good high quality content that was AI generated, and it's going to be fine. It's going to work just fine for you. But I would never recommend that you just pump out a ton of articles all written by AI and put them out there and hopefully you start ranking. You might have some success on some of them, but on others you might not. And you know, there's always the risk of Google going, wow, this site is just pumping out AI generated stuff. We're going to derank them or whatever. So they can always do that. So just keep that in mind of like, it's a very powerful and valuable tool. But I would not say, just like go crazy with it and just pump out all this content with AI stuff. So.
And isn't that why the helpful content update came out in the first place? Because a lot of people were actually pumping out AI content, and
exactly.
and EEAT is something to do with that as well, isn't it? In terms of your expertise and things, adding it to the to your content. Cool. And Nicole's basically asked, I'm selling online just product, and she's selling puzzles basically that don't change. How is it possible to make it more relevant and rank higher? Do you think that's more, to do with more content and writing more content for their...
Yeah, you can obviously like update like product descriptions, and we, All One SEO, if works with WooCommerce, EDD, all those different ones where we can help you with the titles and descriptions as well, just like you can with the others, regular posts. But I would say like, take for example a puzzle. If you're selling puzzles, like take an example of like, okay, what is something that somebody can turn into a puzzle, and you can say, okay, maybe you write an article on how to turn your favorite photo into a puzzle keepsake that will last for a lifetime or something like that, right? Like, and you write an article about that, and all you're doing is just talking about how somebody can take something they love and turn it into a puzzle. And then, hey, guess what? We sell puzzles. Maybe you sell like custom made puzzles and they can upload their photo and do it there, and then you target your product or whatever. So there things like that can give you ideas to be able to do that, and then just create more content. And I think that will be very, very helpful.
Yeah, definitely. And also something that we haven't really touched on too much in this workshop, because obviously it's another tool in part of All-in-One SEO, is the link assistant tool, where people can start interlinking all that content together, which is very important in terms of Google being able to find things, especially if you've had new product pages or new pages, new posts and things like that. So those are other tools inside All-in-One SEO that you can kind of use to kind of help with that stuff as well when you're starting adding more content on there, right?
Exactly. Yes, cool. 100%. That link assistant is very powerful. We might need to do a webinar on just that someday, because it is a very powerful tool, and I would definitely recommend anybody to use it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, anyone drop in the chat right now, we'll take a look at the chat if anyone wants to see Ben back to talk about the link assistant tool as well. Okay, so we've through these questions right now. Someone said asked another question they might have missed when we answered it before. So Louise asked, would it be complementary to Yoast or instead of? Basically, instead of is the basic way. Don't use two SEO tools together. Use them one or the other, basically, because and from what I've heard also in the chat as well, people have asked questions about how easy is it to move from one plugin to the other, and All-in-One SEO makes it super easy to do that, right?
Yeah, we have an importer. You can just, when you do go through the setup wizard, you can do it right then. You can import it. It will import all the data from Yoast directly into All-in-One SEO. It does take a little bit of time, but it will happen. And you don't even have to have both active at the same time, but you can just have Yoast deactivated while All-in-One SEO is doing it, or you can have them both at the same time. During that period is fine. Deactivate Yoast after that. But we'll import everything, and then there's a ton more features and things inside of All-in-One SEO that we recommend you give a try.
Cool. So. Fantastic. Okay. I think that's all the questions that I can see, and we've pretty much answered everything. And I think there's a couple of these are doubling up now. So, Ben, I just want to say a huge thank you to you, and thank you for doing that workshop. It was really insightful. It was really great to see search statistics and everything you guys are doing All-in-One SEO. I hope everyone that's joined us has enjoyed this workshop. It has gave me a lot of more insight into search statistics and how it can actually, it works with everything else that's going on in All-in-One SEO. If anyone wants to contact the team, Ben, what's the best contact for that?
Yeah, just go to our website page, contact, which is aioseo.com/contact, and we have just forms you can fill out there, and we will get all of those questions and answers. And our team is very, very excited and helpful. Wants to be helpful to help you with any of those questions you have, and we'd love for you guys to give it a try, even if you just want to try out our free version and see how it compares, but all the way up to our elite version, which includes all of the stuff we talked about today. Definitely recommend giving that a shot. So
yeah, so thank you so much everyone for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this workshop. There's going to be another one next month. I'm not quite sure which one it is yet, so you will get an email to let you know what that is. And Ben, I've actually seen a bunch of people saying, yes, Ben, we want Ben back, so for a link assistant thing, so we'll try and sort that out in the future. But yeah, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, whatever else you're going on to do, and there will be a replay of this at this link and also on YouTube tomorrow. So please join us then if you want to watch the video again. And for now, I'll leave you for the rest of the day and enjoy your days, guys. Thanks so much.
thank you, everyone.